You're telling me there weren't a lot of skating rinks in San Salvador growing up?
No, not a lot. And, but Saul does a good job of improvising.
The current undefeated NBBA welterweight champion, Kevin Bizier.
Nice reception for Kevin Bizier as he tries to move his mark to 20-0, stepping up against Nate Campbell. Marlon B. Wright is our referee.
Gentlemen, you both received my instructions in your dressing room. Remember, protect yourself at all time, and you obey my command at all time. Touch gloves.
12 rounds between Campbell and Bizier.
Marlon B. Wright has favored the local fighter.
That's a kind
That is a
way
kind
of
way of
saying
putting
it.
He has greatly favored the local fighter on a previous
And for
occasion.
you, it's very kind way of saying
Yeah,
it.
it really is. You're right.
Usually there's steam coming out of your ears when that subject comes up.
Well, we'll see whether or not these, not only the referee, but the judges here at ringside, whether or not they are kind and too kind to the local Bizier. But for that to be something to talk about, for that to be an issue, first Campbell has to do his job.
Step back.
And that is come forward, attack the body of Bizier, and land the right hand that Campbell likes to throw. Sometimes it's the looping right hand that Campbell will throw. And you know what? It's not a bad idea. There's that move. Already early on, you see the fight plan move there. You'll see a lot of it. Campbell will have that low left hand as we talked about in the fight plan, Joe. They throw it out there, try to see if he's going to draw a right hand from his opponent. If he does, and he draws the right hand up top, he'll move that shoulder back to the right, move the head over to the right, try to make that right hand fall short, and he'll load up that right hand to come back.
Touching him off the hip for a moment there.
And you see Bizier stand straight up. He does keep his gloves up well, but he does stand straight up. And when he gets those earmuffs on, like he has them on now, Bizier, well, that's where the looping right hand of Campbell, and he likes to throw that looping right hand sometimes. That could be effective. There it is.
There it is, the looping right hand there. First couple right hands he threw were straight to the body. Now Bizier comes back with a combination. Sweeping right hand wasn't able to connect from Campbell.
Joe, the reason why the looping right hand can be effective for Campbell, and I think it can be effective in a big way, is just what we talked about. Bizier covers up, puts those earmuffs on, goes into that peekaboo, and you can land behind the glove, around the ear on him. And I think Campbell, with his 13 years of experience, he understands that. He sees that.
He's seen everything. There's Bizier coming in with that right hand. Campbell just getting out of the way enough and then firing off his own combination. Both men opening up with right hands.
Now look for that signature move again in Campbell. That head moving to the right, moving that shoulder back, looking to create an opportunity for his right hand. And another reason why I think he can be effective is Bizier, after he punches, sometimes he waits for a receipt. Sometimes he takes a picture. He'll stand there instead of moving his head. And if you come back, and Campbell will come back, you nail him.
As we come to the end of round number one, once again, we invite you to log on to the ESPN Friday Night Fight Facebook page, and you can score along with Teddy Atlas throughout the night. Click on the live scoring and get in the act and see if you match up with Teddy and the ringside judges. We come to the end of round number one, our main event, Campbell and Bizier from Montreal.
You know, I talked about the looping right hand can be effective, and Campbell understands that. Try to get it around the glove of Bizier. He wasn't accurate there. It went a little too far behind the glove, but the idea is set in Campbell's mind.
Nate Campbell come up on 5 years removed from when he won the VA, BO, and IBF lightweight belt. Yes, down in Mexico.
Now, one of the questions the fans back home are going to have to be thinking, mulling over in their heads when they make their friendly little races with each other, sitting there with their friends watching Friday Night Fights. They know that Campbell Well, they should know that Campbell took this fight on 1.5 weeks' notice, short notice. So the question, is he in shape? Well, Campbell did come in the heaviest of his career.
Stop.
Doesn't mean he's not in shape. Does mean it's the heaviest of his career. And Campbell has lost 4 of his last 7. His last 4 fights, Joe, and now his last 5 fights have been outside the U.S. He is truly, as he likes to call himself, the Galaxy Warrior. He goes all over the place.
A couple fights in Russia, fought in the Caribbean, and then most recently came up with a win against a fringe contender in Poland as Bizier is getting to work there against the ropes. Chance for us to check in with Bernard.
Nate Campbell said, how'd you feel him? This is Nate's first fight at 147. Nate's answer was, he's very strong. So he told him, now you need to use that uppercut because right up the middle, he's wide open.
Campbell trying to get to that belt line.
You know, a moment ago I saw on the ropes when Campbell was trapped on the ropes by Bizier. Talk about it on the fight plan, where when Campbell makes that signature move and moves his head over to the right to try to load up to the right hand, he leaves his body on the left side open. Bizier saw that, and he threw the right hand, a good right hand, to the body of Campbell. And I think that's a good idea to go to the body of a 40-year-old. Wear it down. Not a bad strategy.
Watch your head, watch your head, guys.
Final half minute of the second round.
But you got to go early and often. You know, you hear me say it all the time. It's like going to the body is like putting money in the bank. It's like buying CDs. You're not going to see the money grow right away, but you're going to build interest. You know, 6 months go by, a year go by, you're going to have more money. Well, 6 rounds go by, 8 rounds go by, guess what? You're going to start getting to the guy. You're going to get interest.
End of 2 here. Heard the corner between the break here. Nate Campbell saying that Bizier is punching himself out.
Well, what I would respond to that is first that Campbell hopes Bizier is punching himself out, number one. Bizier is 28 years old.
And 2 rounds into a fight.
Yeah, he's only 2 rounds, so I don't know about that. That's wishful thinking. That's the confidence a former champion wants to build for himself. But I know Campbell doesn't want to punch himself out.
No, he's got to face things.
And exactly, Joe. And I've noticed it early. And you're going to see it throughout the fight. Campbell's going to fight in spots. You know, he's going to use that experience of 13 years. And having been a former world champion, and he knows what he can and can't do. And he can't throw punches for 12 rounds at this stage in his career. So he'll pick spots. And he'll hope that they're the right spots.
Left uppercut and the left to the body, and then a wide sweeping lead right hand.
Yeah, for me, Campbell, it's about that looping right hand. Can he land it around the glove of Bizier? Also the right hand that he comes back with, sometimes like an uppercut, sometimes, you know, half straight, half from the side when he makes that move to the right and tries to nail you when you miss. And the uppercut for Campbell, I think, is a big punch. I really do. I think that Bizier can really be susceptible to that uppercut. That's not what you want to see. If you're a fan of the younger, undefeated Bizier, you don't want to see him putting his hands behind the older Campbell on the inside. And he's doing it again. That means he doesn't want to work. I don't care what he says afterwards in the interview. That moment, for that moment, he didn't want to work. He put his hand behind Campbell, hoping to get grabbed. And he's doing it again, hoping to make a silent agreement that if you don't hit me, I won't hit you. And a young guy like Bizier can't make those silent agreements because you want to try to wear down on the inside. You want to wear down the 40-year-old fighter. And you can't do it if you're not working with both hands.
He's doing it with the left hand right there.
Exactly, Joe. Now, one thing I say about Bizier, he's got an educated left hand. I don't think he used the jab enough, but I'll tell you one thing he does real well. He hooks and turns the hook into an uppercut with that left hand really well. He's really talented with that left hand. You'll see it as the fight goes on. He'll throw a left hook, then he'll turn it into an uppercut, then he'll go upstairs and downstairs, all with that left hand. Campbell's looking for that move again. He's looking to get distance. We can throw that jab and then make that move to the right. Try to set up that right hand. Right now, it's simple, this fight. The younger Bizier, busier. You know, I said on the fight plan that sometimes Campbell plays with fire a little bit with that signature move to the right. He doesn't move quick enough. And right there, playing with fire, he didn't get a bad burn, but a little blister. You know, a little scorch there from the right hand. A little warning for Campbell, and maybe a little confidence for Bizier that, you know what? I can beat Campbell to that move. I can land the right hand before Campbell makes that move. Something to follow.
Round 4, Campbell came out with a little spurt there as we've been seeing him pacing himself, fighting in spots here. The soon-to-be 41-year-old former titleist. He was a 24-year-old working in a supermarket warehouse and had a bit of an amateur career, was doing some slap boxing. One of his buddies said, listen, you should take this more serious. So he bloomed a bit late as a pro, but had such success in his 30s.
Yeah, Campbell turned pro, as you said, Joe, 27.
No wrestling, guys, no wrestling, okay? Watch your head.
40 now. Both these guys do get involved with their heads a little bit, especially Campbell on the inside. He's been cut over the left eye 3 fights ago. Matter of fact, Bizier got cut over the same eye, his left eye, in his last fight. And you see them in there with their heads right now, where cuts can happen because of that. Campbell better be careful on the inside. I mean, he likes to be there. He's made his living there. Likes to go to the body, beat that drum a little bit, you know, go downstairs, put some water in that basement. But that's what I'm talking about. Bizier's got a good left hand. He can double it up, and we haven't seen it yet, but he can throw that hook up top, Joe, or underneath, and then bang! He can turn an uppercut into it, too. He can be pretty good with that, pretty sneaky with that.
Let go.
This isn't just wrestling and, you know, grabbing and falling around on the inside. What you're watching a 40-year-old that knows he's 40 years old, and he's trying to slow the pace down a little bit.
These are the spots where you would prefer to do it. Final minute of the round, and then see if he can do something towards the end in the last 30 seconds.
And the younger guy, Bizier, he's still standing straight up, and he might pay a price for that. He does stand straight up. After he punches, he doesn't move his head. And Campbell's going to have a chance, and I think he's thinking about it. He's seeing it. He's computing it in his head, that maybe later on I can catch it. But you can see you see the younger Bizier doing what he's supposed to do, going to the body of the older guy, hurting him there with that left hook to the body, and just being busier. He's younger. He should be busier.
Just a good, steady work rate from the undefeated Kevin Bizier as we come to the end of round number 4 in Montreal.
You know, I talked about Bizier having an educated left hand on the inside, upstairs and downstairs, and you can see it right there. Tripling it up, downstairs, then 2 upstairs.
Kevin Bizier knew this would be a step up for him tonight. And Nate Campbell, and Teddy, you read it perfectly from the beginning of talking about Campbell and his age and how measured he would be and having a great sense of what he would need to be tonight. Bernardo was listening into the corner of Nate Campbell. Bernardo, what do you have?
You know, Lenny was concerned. He said, I can't have you standing in front of him. I need you to move, and you just need to do something for me because you can't be there letting him tee off on you.
Yeah, Lenny being Lenny Perez, of course, the head man in the Campbell corner, the trainer. And I would agree with Lenny. And I'm sure Campbell agrees with him. There's one problem. Campbell has 40-year-old legs, and they don't listen sometimes. They're like kids. They don't always do what they're told.
He's got a determined 28-year-old opposite him.
Campbell knows as well as we know, as well as Lenny knows, that he shouldn't be laying in front of this younger guy that's undefeated. And that's 12 years younger. But again, 40, well, you got to talk twice to those legs, not once.
Facebook viewers having 4 rounds to none for Kevin Bizier. A reminder, 2 weeks from tonight, we will have a world title fight on Friday Night Fights. We will be in Washington, D.C. And we will see the return of Lamont Peterson, IBF 140-pound belt. Peterson, of course, had the upset of Amir Khan and then had the issue with the rematch with the TED test.
So you just saw a minute again, Campbell, his reflexes aren't what they used to be. You know, he's spreading his feet really wide now. That's telling me that he can't use those legs.
Oh, he just caught a right hand, Teddy.
He can't use those legs to move around. He's looking to sneak that right hand in. That's what he's trying to do. And give him credit for it. That's where his hopes really lay now. It's on that right hand of Campbell that he can nail Bizier, not with a sucker punch, but almost a sucker punch, where Bizier is standing there and Campbell can come back and nail him with that right hand. But the legs of Campbell getting real wide because he can't really scoot around. So he's trying to set himself, entrench himself, and make sure those legs are steady, and he's spreading them out, but he's trapping himself just where Bizier wants him to be, where he can do that, go to work. And also the reflexes of Campbell, I saw a moment ago, were a little late. You know, he's trying to make that signature move, Joe, to the right, but he's late on it. And as we said in the fight plan, you saw it there. Bizier able to beat him on that move with his right hand. This is the work from the last round I was talking about. Bizier has Campbell where he wants him on the ropes, and the right hand just beats that move with Campbell. Campbell's too slow with that head movement, and, well, there's a super slow-mo, and you can see that jab landing on Campbell.
Right behind Campbell, almost point of view there as Bizier was coming forward. You saw that jab land in super slow-mo. Round number 6 of our main event.
You know, you see that super slow-mo, I'd like to say that's a great picture, a great piece of, obviously, technology to get that picture, but I'm not so sure Campbell would agree that.
No, it's not great for him.
It's such a good picture.
That left hand score, and there's a right hand from Bizier. And Campbell dug in, landed a body shot. So now trying to match some firepower.
So you said a right hand by Bizier. That's a problem for Campbell because that means that Bizier's right hand is beating the move.
Right.
Of Campbell, the move that, to a certain degree, he's made a living with.
You said it's his signature move in the fight plan, and that he would need to have it tonight.
Well, coming in here, there was only 2 questions to ask if you're breaking this fight down, and they were both to be asked to Campbell. Is he in shape, and what does he have left?
Complaining of that left hand, looked like it was right on the bridge of that hip, his right hip, where the guard is. Campbell touching him with 2 right uppercuts, and Bizier continuing to fire off, and there's that wide right hand. Just got out of the way of the right hand from Bizier.
You know, it's a funny thing, Joe. Campbell said, you know, we of course get some pre-fight notes on both fighters, and in the pre-fight notes for Campbell, he said that he's always had hip problems throughout his career.
I thought that was very interesting what he discussed with us and our research staff pre-fight of discussing just how significant those hip problems have been.
I guess they become more significant when you're 40.
Oh, he got caught short, solid left hand.
Well, the reason he got caught, the right hand, he tried to get away from the right hand thrown by Bizier. And the right hand, as he was getting away from it by Bizier, led him to that side where the left hook could find him. Good setup by Bizier. Throw the right hand, get Campbell's head to move over to that side, and it doesn't matter if the right hand lands. The left hook's there to find him. Too young and too strong, maybe, right now, Bizier. For Campbell, who, amongst the other problems of being 40 and taking a fight on a week and a half notice, he's a smaller guy. Don't forget that. Most of his career, between junior lightweight and lightweight, well, Bizier has been a full welterweight his whole career.
Campbell's first fight at 147.
You know, sometimes the first punch is just a setup punch. That right hand misses, but it sets up the left hook. See how it made Campbell move to the side? And again, another look at it. The right hand misses, but it sets up Campbell, makes a move to the right, and guess what's over on the right? Left hook.
Joe Tessitore and Teddy Atlas with you here in Montreal as we're getting our first extended look at Kevin Bizier. And we said it earlier tonight, Teddy. This has happened in many years recently where you get the fighter from Quebec who steps up against the guy who's, you know, a known quantity, but perhaps maybe just past his prime. And it's the local fighter's chance to see if they can carry a main event, if they can sell tickets in a place where you can earn a really good living selling tickets. You don't need to leave Montreal to have a great career as a prize fighter here, and that's the moment for Kevin Bizier.
Exactly, Joe, and every once in a while, you know, it's business. Show business a little bit, but show business with pain. And you want to beat a good name, and that's what you do. You bring in a name that you think is beatable at that point in his career. So far, so good. The connections are Bizier.
And the fans are busy as he's trying to earn plenty of them tonight. Teddy, on a night when the weather is horrible outside in Montreal, the whole East Coast is just buried in this massive winter storm, and still, you got the lower bowl here in an NHL arena and the floor filled to come out in Montreal. You know, sidewalks aren't shoveled. Streets are dangerous. This is how much they support the local fighters.
Yeah, it does tell you that. It does tell you two things. It tells you they're used to snow.
That's true. It's bad out, though.
You know, they don't get scared off by snow up in Montreal. And it tells you that they're good fight fans. They will support their local fighters. And it also tells you that the promotion team up here does a good job of connecting the fans with their fighters, of promoting their fighters.
Combination, two left hands and then a straight right by Kevin Bizier. 19-0.
Again, it's Campbell's not winning the decision here. You
No
don't
doubt.
need me to tell you that. And nobody needs to tell Campbell that. I don't know if he fought well, if he can win a decision here with the local officials, but I don't think we're going to have to worry about that. He's falling too far behind now. But I don't know if he ever thought he was going to win a decision coming into this fight. Or if he thought that he was going to have to land a big shot at a moment. And he's still looking for that big shot in that moment. And there's that move to the right again. And he's not working for him the way it worked for him some years ago.
Not at all. He's been eating those left hands as Bizier's turning it over every time he gets the chance. And you can see a little bit of swelling, a bit of blood on the face of Nate Campbell.
And when Campbell does get trapped on a rope, on those ropes, as he has continually, and he makes that move to the right, remember, the fight plan, there's the right hand, he tried it, but Bizier missed. Remember that body, the left side of Campbell is wide open, and Bizier not doing as good a job of taking that body with his right hand right now when Campbell gives it to him.
Let's listen into the corner of Nate Campbell. Lenny Perez, trainer for Nate Campbell.
Listen to me very carefully, okay? Listen to me very carefully. I know you're trying to punch this guy out. He's almost punched out. He's fighting out of spurts now. But you gotta listen to me. You gotta stop relying on the natural and go do the supernatural. You gotta touch and go, man. Stop thinking natural right now, okay? God didn't call you back out of retirement for nothing. Let's go.
We know you're tough. We know you're strong.
We know you're tough. We know you're strong.
We know you're trying to make him blow his load. We know that. Come on.
In a sense, they think he doesn't need to prove the toughness to Bizier. We'll touch and go. Delvin Rodriguez will headline our main event next week. George Tatanapper has fought his career in Oklahoma. He's unbeaten. He had a good-looking knockout on Friday Night Fights, but a much different class in opposition going up against Delvin Rodriguez, who most recently fought for the world title. It'll be Delvin's 15th career fight on ESPN. He's provided some of the most exciting moments that we've seen over the course of his career on our series, and we look forward to seeing Delvin again next week from Mohegan Sun, 9 o'clock start time. Just listened into Nate Campbell's corner. Meanwhile, Bernardo was observing things in the corner of Bizier.
You know what they said in the blue corner was, we want you to move your head laterally and create space. Take a step back and counter with that right, because he's crowding you.
Yeah, but it's hard to do that. It's not, in some ways, not a bad idea. You don't want to smother yourself, but it's hard to do that when you're not taught that in the gym. You know, you can't just tell a guy in the corner, hey, this is what I like to do, and I like you to do. Sounds like a great idea, but you have to teach it in the gym. And Bizier, you can see, hasn't been taught those things. Does not move his head much. I hear some heavy breathing all the way from here, Bizier. And it's not important that I hear it, but it's important to this fight because that means Campbell can hear it. And maybe that's the sound Campbell's been waiting for.
Remember, Campbell was hearing from his corner that they wanted to hear that early on.
Exactly. I mean, when you're the veteran and things are tough and you knew they were going to be tough, you look for hope in small ways. Sometimes it's in some heavy breathing is where you look for it. Just to tell you that, yeah, maybe he is wearing down.
That's it.
So there's that missed right hand by Bizier, and Campbell came back with that signature right hand. It was to the body, not to the head, but Bizier felt it.
Another right hand to the body from Nate Campbell.
And we are getting into those late veteran, former champion rounds for Campbell. You just wonder if they're still his rounds like they used to be when he was younger. And we're going to find out. If this fight turns around, I will go back to this round, the 8th round, to say that's where it started. A little bit better work from Campbell in this round.
Shoulder roll just missed with the right hand that time. Better looking round for the former titleist Nate Campbell. Bizier in control.
We've been looking at that signature move of Campbell all night, and here he pulls it off. Moves to the right, makes the right hand miss. Doesn't throw the right hand to the head, but throws a nice, clean right hand to the body of Bizier, and maybe sends a signal, maybe sends a message, but
they're stopping the fight here, Teddy. The corner of Nate Campbell is not continuing.
This corner man is yelling over to me, getting my attention, and he's saying, Teddy, it's his back.
You see Campbell not getting up off the stool as the corner was yelling over to us. It's his back. He's not going to continue. You can see some swelling around the right side of the face of the former titleist. And Kevin Bizier has passed the test against the 40-year-old Nate Campbell as he took a step up, and Campbell very much looked his age. A proud, long-time warrior coming here to Montreal, the backyard of the unbeaten prospect.
That's why I can't move.
Believe me, he wouldn't lie about it.
No, I'm sorry.
Of course, the question that comes to mind, you heard that one of his quartermen saying, believe me, he wouldn't lie about it. What that is the inspectors, the people from the commission asking the question, is he really hurt? I mean, that's the question right away comes to your mind. You know, he just had a good round. Was he really hurt? And you hear Campbell's people saying, yeah, he couldn't continue, he wouldn't lie.
Take a quick break. We will get the official particulars and we will hear from Nate Campbell when we come back. ESPN Friday Night Fights, presented by Corona Extra, proud sponsor of Friday Night Fights, and as always encourages you to relax responsibly. And in part by Little Caesars, home of the large, hot and ready pizza. Kevin Bizier conquering Nate Campbell here in Montreal. For the official particulars, we send it up to the ring to Christian Gauthier.
Les hommes de coin de Nate Campbell stoppent le combat à la fin du 8e round. Ladies and gentlemen, Nate Campbell's corner stops his bout at the end of round 8. The winner by TKO, and still NABA new IBF Intercontinental Welterweight Champion, Kevin Bizier.
Kevin Bizier now 20-0 in his career. Let's look at tonight's foolproof punch of the night, brought to you by Just for Men, Teddy.
Well, it's not a left hook, it's not a pure left uppercut, it's a little bit of a combination of the two. Coming from the side, turning into an uppercut, and getting in clean right inside the guard, the right-hand guard of Campbell.
Yes, sir.
Let's go up to the ring to Bernardo with Nate Campbell.
Nate, you were fighting for the first time at 147. He was bigger than you. You felt his punches. What made you stop the fight?
Well, it wasn't his punches. I really want to be honest. It wasn't his punches. I was never hurt. In the second round, he was wrestling with me, tangled up with all the extra weight, threw me, and I re-injured my piriformis. I have a piriformis syndrome injury, and it hurt. And I knew I couldn't get out of the way of anything. That's why, if you notice, I stopped jabbing as much, because it hurts to jab. And a lot of times it's easy just to stand there and take the shot. And with him being so heavy and laying on me, this kid is over 160 pounds right now. This morning we did the second weigh-in. He was 156. I was 149. There's no way I was going to wrestle him with a bad back. Now, if I would have been 100% without a bad back, we'd have been here all night. I was looking to catch him with something. But he fought a good fight. He fought his fight. I mean, hey.
You know, you told us before this fight that you weren't going to judge your future based on this fight that you took on a week and a half notice. But now what's in your mind?
I'm going to 40. Well, I can fight at 140. I mean, where they don't come in at 160 the next day. I mean, I came in at 149 today, after winning 146 the day before. I'm a 140-pounder. I'm okay. Let's get something established. I want to tell my girls, I want to tell my daughters, Jasmine, Janae, Jade, Jocelyn, and Janae, I am fine. I'm okay, just a little back injury. I'll be home tomorrow, I am fine. Tell my granddaughter I'm fine. Happy birthday, Jesse, I'm good. And look, this is just what it is. It is just what it is. I mean, fighters fight, and they lose fights. I took this fight on 7 days' notice. Yep. 13 rounds of sparring against a giant who's been training for 6 weeks. I'm a fighter. I do what I gotta do.
There you go. He's a fighter. He does what he has to do, and he will do this one more time. Joe, Teddy, back to you ringside.